Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's October 5th, 2022. It's morning. We're in the western garden plot, and so one of the goals this morning is for Thea and I to try and move back some of the weed mats that are up against the main stems or the foundation of each of these curly willows or corkscrew willows. The goal is to dig these up. We'll heal some in. That'll be one of the jobs we do today. The other thing we'll do is we'll try and potentially get some of these started over there along the living fence. Recent videos showing the living fence. Since these are furthest down the slope, these would be the first ones we do. Now we're going to get the figs in. That'd be great if we can do that today. But the first thing is seeing how easy these things, willows always grow like crazy. And they're just amazing at how rapidly they grow, especially when they get water. And the corkscrew or curly willows, these things really get curly. It's hard to see it here, but they get beautiful. And we have several of these around the property. They're really beautiful around the ponds and all. I like them more tree-like. A lot of people like them more bush-like. But they're pretty neat trees. So we're going to try and pull the weed mats back here and start digging up some of these curly willows. Put them in the back of Pepe. We'll heal in the ones that we don't put in the ground by the living fence. So here we go. Okay, it's still the 5th and still morning, and Thea and I were able to get the weed mats. Thea pulled back the weed mats on both beds. I know it's hard to see the way everything is here, but got the weed mats back, the drip tapes back. Thea got all the weeds out. I dug up the corkscrew or curly willows. Thea also came along and pulled a lot of the weeds up along the building here. Unfortunately, they had already gone to seed. And I'll show you the curly willows or corkscrew willows in a moment. But another thing, we had a great big volunteer elderberry plant right here. And surprisingly enough, our brush grubber, so I've made videos about the brush grubber in the past, and that thing just works so well. It works with a tractor, with a truck, whatever you have to pull on it. I pulled Elon up over the edge of the fencing here. Thea hooked the chain that was hooked to the brush grubber. The brush grubber just wrapped around the whole base of the brush, and you're able to pull just about all of the plant out, roots intact. I stuck it over there next to the living fence, and so we'll re-bury the whole root mass of that. I may prune some of it back, but I may wait until spring since everything's going dormant now. But those elderberries, our native elderberries here, do so well, and they produce like crazy. I think we got several gallons of it out. So with the corkscrew or curly willows, here's they're in the back of Pepe. They're over here in the shade still right now. Once we have lunch, we'll go over and we'll use Elon with the excavator bucket to sort of like poke down in between the 4x4 fence posts on the living fence over there. And we'll just make like a crevice that we could take and stick the roots of these various trees down in there. I did prune them back, so it's almost only one main stem coming up. Because I don't want them to bush out too close to the ground. I want the comfrey, which is all planted around the base of it, to really get to not shade out the lower branches. And so we'll have quite a few over there, and we may have some extra that we end up selling eventually as well. But these really put on really extensive. They really like moist soil. They grow like crazy. They can grow pretty well in straight gravel too, dry, high ground. But with a moist gravel, these things were just started this spring, and you could see they're pretty darn good looking plants. All the prunings that we took off, now we could start all of these. It's late in the season to do that. But what we'll do is Thea and I will take a ride down after we get these, the corkscrew or curly willows in the ground. And then we'll take this pile down and back to for the beaver. So the beaver right now, this time of year, are gathering up lots of these smaller stems, not quite as small as many of these, but they'll munch on these. The babies will munch these down. They're really fattening up. But they'll take everything down like pencil size in diameter and larger, and they'll bring them down into storage pools underneath the water surface so that when the pond is completely frozen over, they can go ahead and go to their little refrigerator, pull out these, bring them into their den, eat, take the waste back out, and it'll go back towards the wall for later on to build as well. So these won't go to waste. Everything has a purpose. So after lunch, we'll get back to work. So I think we're going to have lunch in a little while. Take care.